I'm ranking every single Weeknd album as the biggest Weeknd Glazer fan in the entire world. I got the vinyls surrounding my head. I got my own spinning the record poster over there. When it comes to Abel, I know my stuff, but I got a little bit of a controversial take here in this video. So let's see if you guys agree with me or not. I know the Weeknd community is very close, but they're very strong on their opinions. So stick to the end, and I guess we're going to find out if you agree with me or not. Coming in dead last at number 10, already starting off hot, we got My Dear Melancholy. Now, for me, it isn't about the substance that makes it so low, it's the amount of songs on this EP, mixtape, whatever you want to call it. We'll just call it an album for the sake of the video. It's not long enough. 6 songs. For it to be perfect, you have to have 6 amazing songs. And unfortunately for me, that's just not how I feel about this album. Privilege is one of my favorite Weeknd songs. It's probably in my top 15 to top 10. However, it's not enough to put it any higher than 10. It's just too short. There's not enough punch. So for that, it has to be number 10. Can't be any higher, but still very solid release. At number 9, second to worst. It's not even that bad, but you're not going to agree with it, but that's okay. It's my opinion. It is Starboy. Yes, I know some people get upset with that, but unfortunately, Starboy is number 9. It it is his pop release, which I understand, but unfortunately, it can't hold up to the other albums on this list. Sometimes even My Dear Melancholy is ahead of it. There's some amazing songs on this album, no doubt. Definitely has his biggest hits, Die For You, I Feel It Coming, Starboy. However, in terms of musicality and just overall theme and direction, he kind of just sold out for this album, which is totally okay, but it can't crack any higher than this on this list. I know some people love it for the time and place it came out in, but I can't see it. It can't be higher than number 9. Coming in at number 8. So the third worst. And I think after this album, every album above it is like in a whole other tier. This really wraps up the bottom 3, but it's still solid and it's Beauty Behind the Madness. Some classic songs on this album. The Hills, Shameless, Angel, some of my personal favorite Weeknd songs. But again, it's after the first trilogy, before the second trilogy, and he's kind of in this pop appeal area, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately for me, it doesn't capture what he does best, and it can't be higher than that. Some people have it lower than this, some people have it higher, but for me, this is a perfect placement right above Starboy. I think he does the pop a little bit better on this album, and right underneath the other albums that, in my opinion, are tiers and levels ahead of these bottom 3. But I know some people don't agree with that. Coming in at number 7. Now, this is where the tiers of albums are completely separated, and it's an actual album on my wall here. And some people are going to get really mad because I know it's people's favorites, and I understand why. But for me, at number 7, I know it's so low. I know it's so low. I'm sorry. But it's Kissland. And for me, the biggest gripe I have with this album is a lot of these songs, in my opinion, sound very similar. And I know that's the point. I know there's a theme to this album. I understand that. But it doesn't sound the best compared to these albums in front of it. It's right after he's coming off the trilogies where he was, in my opinion, at his peak. And he just, some of these songs don't do it for me. Tears in the Rain is in my top 5 Weeknd songs. But there's not enough on this album that I personally resonate with. But I know some people love this album. I know, and I'm not hating on it because it's very good. But I understand that some people have it at 1. I have it at 7. And we're just going to leave it at that. Coming in at number 6, we got another album that is on my wall, and it's right next to Kissland. We have Thursday, number 6. Now, in my opinion, this is the weakest of the trilogy, which is why it's the other 2 are ahead of it, and it's the weakest by a lot. But that's saying something because this album still is really good, and I think it still holds up compared to the rest of his discography. Now, there was a couple misses on this, I can't lie, but songs like Rolling Stone, songs like The Birds Part 1 and Part 2, songs like Thursday, songs like Life of the Party, like you just can't put it lower than this. I know some people are going to get mad. They think Kissland's better, but I don't. I still think Thursday is an amazing, amazing project. And I think this is a perfect placement, almost in the middle six. The next five are just better, in my opinion, but this is still really great. Still holds up well. Couple misses, but great for a second release as an artist. It's great. Coming in at number five, we have another hot take, I think, because I've seen online people don't really agree with this, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Don FM at five, and people are wondering how is it ahead of Kissland? How is it ahead of Thursday? Some people might even complain that it's ahead of the other ones below. But I think Don FM is his most underrated album. Like if I was doing an underrated ranking, that would be one because it is so overlooked because it's coming off the giant success of After Hours, Super Bowl performance, global number one album, huge tour. And I think that people just overlook this album. They kind of maybe lost a bit of interest with the Jim Carrey narration and things like that. But I don't have an issue with it. There are classic songs on this album. Out of Time, Less Than Zero, How Do I Make You Love Me? I could go on. This is a phenomenal album. And sometimes I even have it over After Hours. Today I don't. But this is a crazy overlooked album. I really love this album. I know there's a community of people that love this album, but I know there's also a lot of people that don't. And I actually can't really understand why. I can't agree with that because there are so many good songs on this album. I think five is perfect right in the middle of his discography. I know some people are going to be mad, but I can't really argue with that. This is a phenomenal album. Like if I was rating them, this would be a solid 8.5 out of 10. All right, we're in the top two tiers of Abel's catalog, and this was really hard for me because I honestly was gonna put this album like one, but I had to think about it, and I realized that it's probably recency bias, and people don't like that. But this is truly a phenomenal album. This was, if it was his last album as The Weeknd, it couldn't have been better than this. It couldn't have. Hurry Up Tomorrow, number four. Just words can't describe what I feel about this album. There are just so many amazing, powerful songs on this album that it was hard for me to put it at four. I really wanted to put it higher, but I just couldn't. I couldn't. But it's just so it's just so amazing. Like Niagara Falls was my most played song this year. Like I like Wake Me Up. That intro was phenomenal. Like Give Me Mercy, like it brought me to tears. Like these songs were just powerful. Like hearing The Weeknd be this introspective at the end of his Weekend persona was just phenomenal to listen to and hear. And this is an album that will, in 10 years, could easily be one. But for now, it's at four, which I think is a fair placement. People were kind of split on this album, to be honest. Some said it was bloated. Some said there was too much going on. I personally didn't think that because to me, the highs were so high that I was just able to just cut out the one or two songs that were eh. But I think for perfect placement, we're going to the top three. We are in the top three. And honestly, this really wasn't that hard for me. The two albums above this are on a whole separate level, but that does not take away from the phenomenalness of this album. And some people have this as their one, and I fully understand it. It's definitely grown on me over the years, but as it's been over half a decade since this album came out, it has really changed how music was made post 2020. And the longer that this album sits and marinates, the more we will appreciate how much this changed music. This has timeless classics. This has everything you're looking for in an album. The album cover grabs your attention the second you see it. The Super Bowl performance, the Grammy setup, and everything was just phenomenal. It is After Hours. After Hours is number three on the list, and I know people have it at one, and some people might be mad, but come on, let's just think about it, okay? There's nothing wrong with being third place when you have two goats ahead of you, but we're not going to talk about those right now. After Hours is so well deserving of a top three placement. And again, I understand how it could be higher than this. I do understand Escape from LA, Save Your Tears, In Your Eyes, like Repeat After Me, Interlude, obviously the title track After Hours. These are life-changing songs. And I think that you have to be at a certain level of maturity to appreciate these songs, because when I first heard it in 2020, I was like 14. You don't really understand all this. So if you ask me 10 years ago, where or 6 7 years years ago, this would not be number 3. This would be much lower on the list, even as late as like 2 years ago. But as I get older, as I listen more, I understand these songs better, and I could fully appreciate the whole concept and idea of this album. So for that, it's got to be number 3. And yeah, but now we're in the top 2, and like I said, these two mixtapes, I guess, EPs, projects, but let's just say albums, because whatever. They're on a whole other level. We got House of Balloons and we got Echoes of Silence. And I think, honestly, this was a lot harder for me than what people might think. People might think this is a slam dunk pick. And although, yes, I did end up going with Echoes of Silence at 2. I put Echoes of Silence at 2, but there is nothing wrong with that. So let's just finish out the tier list and put House of Balloons at number 1, but I will get into it and explain why. So Echoes of Silence for me is, honestly, this is the most overlooked Weekend project. Like, there is so many levels to this album that are like uncomprehendable how people don't like this. It is dark, it is moody, it is his most like yeah, evil, I would say. And that is saying a lot, because House of Balloons came out literally like less than a year before this. And I think to close the trilogy that he created with Echoes of Silence, he couldn't have done it any other way. Like, this was the only way. So for that, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Montreal, DD, EXO slash the host, Initiation, title track, Echoes of Silence. I mean, you can't you can't say more. This is probably one of his most underrated albums. I guarantee you no one else has this in the top 2 except for me, but I do. And for all the reasons I said, this is just a phenomenal album. But the real star of the show, and it's crazy because when you think of the GOATs, you think of Kanye, Drake, you think of all these famous artists. For some reason, sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes their first project is their best. And for me, The Weeknd's debut project, House of Balloons, is his best. It's number 1. And you can't really argue with that, because there is not a single bad song on this album. And I'm not saying there's bad songs on Echoes, but I'm saying that there's not a good song. There's not a great song. These are all phenomenal songs. From the beginning to the end, it takes you on a ride that I wish I was able to experience when it came out. I mean, I was 5 years old when it came out, so I wasn't there when it happened, and I could only imagine the impact it had. You hear music today because of this album. So honestly, this is obviously the number 1. Every song is a 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. Every song is perfect. Like, there again, not a single bad song. It is number 1, and this is the Weekend albums ranked 1 through 10. And I think I did a pretty good job. I know there's some hot takes in there, but I think overall it's pretty safe. Honestly, I didn't go too crazy. I could have went a little crazier if I was feeling dangerous, but I think I did a pretty good job. So let me know in the comments where I messed up, what you guys think, where I went wrong, where I went right. And yeah, I'm spinning the record, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see besides this tier list, other artists, things like that. I had a great time doing this, and yeah, I want to hear from you guys. So thank you.